Yeah, we're on the. Yeah.
Now we're going? What's up, guys? bbock53014. Today is May 30th, and it just so happens to be a Friday. It's AJ Cannon, the man himself, bbock. My name's Hans. And it's good to see everybody. It's been a while. We haven't done this in a while.
No, you know what? Yeah, I missed you guys. I really did.
What was the date of the last?
I
thought you'd keep track of that because you came right on like Eric Severide.
Yeah.
With the date, the time, the place.
Let's try it again. Do it again. I'll do the music.
I pride myself on professional journalism, unlike some people in the
journalism.
market.
Oh,
hang on. We got to start
about
this
the only
over.
guy in this market's got an opinion, you doc?
Okay, here we go.
Hi, now, if you listen to us live, we're here with Bradley's. This gentleman to my left is bbock.
Hi, how are you?
Tonight's news brought to you by Geritol.
So, just real quick story. I'll get you in a good mood here. So, I'm listening to Buck and Kincaid today. It's the first 5 minutes of the show. And all of a sudden, he goes, oh, what do you know? It's Chris Domino in here. He goes, we should put a clause in his contract where he can only be here 5 hours a day. Sandra Goldman goes, I'll sign off on that.
I mean,
what a pain in the ass.
He's such a microphone jockey. Well, he'll do walking on someone's show. Oh, you want to ask me? Come on. I wouldn't ask you. I wouldn't ask you where to get a hero, you fuck.
I have a soft spot for him.
For him?
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's
he
why.
Bamboozled you too?
No, because that's why you haven't been around lately.
You know why?
You
because,
don't know.
Because he laughs at my jokes.
Oh, well, shit. Yeah.
When we were back in San Diego,
I laugh at your face.
We were covering. If we're going to start like that, let's just shut it right down. We'll just shut it right down.
Excuse
All right,
me.
go ahead.
George Harrison.
We're out in San Diego for the Super Bowl. You might remember that, and we were all out there together. And one thing about that trip was I kept doing Timmy the whole trip, and he kept telling me I was going to hell while he was laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
Timmy.
So yeah, Timmy.
Timmy's hilarious.
Now my Timmy was around before that Timmy. Now I've been thinking about changing the name of the character, but by rights I shouldn't have to.
No, it's yours.
My Timmy was first, and theirs is Timmy, Timmay.
Yeah.
Mine is spelled the regular way, only with a backward Y.
Oh yeah.
Backward Y, because
But
I get it.
That's only sensible.
That's only sensible.
Yeah.
Well, it is good to see you guys. Edward over here running the show, as he always does. He wraps up the first half of his sandwich.
Lunch, he doesn't need the money. His family in the watch business.
My God, yeah.
Don't worry about him. He's fine.
So, where do you guys want to start? I got to tell you, this good news for the Braves is that it looks like the bats are starting to come around a little bit. But here's the difference between them and the Red Sox, and them and the Cardinals, and them and the Giants. The good teams that they've played this year take their ass behind the woodshed and beat their ass because they do the things you have to do to win games. Braves finds ways to lose it.
Hey, we can't move a runner. We can't move a runner with a sacrifice. We don't hit. We're not a timely hitting club, so we're not moving guys that way. You can't even move them with a bunt.
Sorry,
you can't
boys.
Bunt.
When Freddie took over for Bobby, I was telling people it concerns me a little bit that we're going to see more of the same with Freddie.
Oh, Freddie Cox.
Yeah. And they were like, no. And as soon as I said that, they would look at me and go, don't. And I don't know, fellas. All I do is call them.
So what do you guys think about the club? Here we are. We're exactly a third of the way through the season today, 53 games. Or at least we will be after tonight. 28-24. I think the pitching's been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
The offense, to me, looks like it's coming around, but there's just something missing. There's no fire.
No, there's no fire. There's no leader.
There's no consistency.
There's no.
They beat the bad teams. They can't beat the good teams. That's the consistency.
Wouldn't it be great if Freddie had that in his makeup to be a leader? And wouldn't it be, and Jason Hayward, too, is like, he's about as close as you come to a leader on that club, but he's kind of a reluctant leader, too.
And B.J. Upton is just pissing me off.
And the other thing is, we got to.
He's a clown shoe.
He's unbelievable.
Chris Johnson. He had a career year last year. Everybody said, wow, we really got something here. Chris Johnson's hitting like he always hit. He can't hit. I don't know where that came from.
I don't think so. He's a career 285 until last year. Look, let's dissect some of the. I tell you what the good thing. I think for years and years and years, the Braves have just put off decisions that we all knew that need to be made. And this Dan Uggla thing is a perfect example. They did it with Derek Lowe. They did it with Mike Hampton. You know, they just keep finding these guys that can't play. When you got a guy at AAA or you got an answer somewhere in the organization that can play. Thank God they finally brought up LaStella. I mean, this kid looks like he's got a little, pizzazz to him.
Did you see his first game?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
Did you see the thing where he went out? His little bloop, and he went out and
Him and BJ miscommunication.
And BJ called him off. The kid, instead of running out of the way, stands right there. So the BJ pulls up where it had a collision, right?
Yeah.
The ball drops. Right? The next night, and no one mentioned it.
Very next night.
The next night, similar situation happens, except it's behind Freddie. He goes and picks up the and Joe Simpson says, Did you see that? Look at this kid just playing this game as a rookie, just coming up with treasure. The communication and knowledge is already. The night before, you knucklehead, he lost the game. That was the winning run he let him.
Right.
I mean, if
it's the mentality.
If that's what you put out front to describe your team, describe your league, and describe the game, you're only as good as your weakest link. That shows you where their heart is. That shows you where the commitment is.
And you got to look at the community. Look at where the team is situated. Think about it a month ago, that Uggla finally got a hold of one and hit that grand slam.
In Cincinnati, yeah.
And then as soon as that happened, everybody was like, hey, what do you think of Uggla now? Where's the mentality?
Right.
Well, you can tell the announcers, and here's what's happening with baseball, but in particular the Braves. How do you market your club? You market it through the broadcasters, right? They're the only ones that can sell it. And so here's a perfect example. The other night, ESPN had the game with the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. So I forget who the announcer was, but Shambi was back. He had back surgery. So Shambi's back in studio, and the guy was announcing the game. Right. And he says, I had a chance to talk to Freddie Gonzalez before the game.
I've heard of him.
And I said, Freddie, what's the Dan Uggla situation? He is now a bench player. He said, well, how's he taking this? He's not taking it well. He thinks he should be out there and he can contribute to win the club. That is more insight in 30 seconds that we have gotten from our broadcasters about Dan Uggla in the situation in the clubhouse in 2 years.
Right. And it took benching him to get that.
You know what we do, though? What we do learn, though, is you get your hands inside the ball.
From a career 180 hitter.
Just drop the barrel on it. Drop the barrel on it. Get your hands inside the ball.
The ball's in your hand.
The barrel.
Right,
no, your ball's outside your hands. The ball was inside your hands. You hurt yourself.
Okay.
So keep your hands
I found that to be true, by the way.
Inside the ball.
Yeah.
And then just drop the barrel on it. Just drop it. Boom. There you go.
Boom, chop it. We're chopping at it.
I saw your boy bought the Clippers for $2 billion. I just saw go across the ticker there, and I thought for sure it was Andy Jordan Enterprises.
Oh, you knew who it was.
I thought it was.
Me too.
I thought it was.
I was right there with you. Who else could it be? There's only a handful of guys that could be.
That got that kind of money.
Exactly.
He's got that laying around in the back of the Tahoe. But $2 billion for a basketball team? They don't even own their own arena.
Former CEO of Microsoft, and he's worth $20 billion. So this is like his toy.
It'd be like a penny to you, maybe a hay penny.
You know what's really incredible about it is
he goes Old English.
Ted Turner bought the Hawks for $9 million. Yeah. Not to be a basketball owner, but he had WTBS, fledgling national station.
Who's the owner? Who did he buy it from?
Tom Cousins.
Okay.
And bought it for $9 million. And I forget what the Omni was. The Omni might have been in there for 12 or something. A total. I mean, I'm not talking about in the 20s.
Now, was the CNN Center there when he bought the team, or was that something that was developed?
No, but that was developed over time. But,
okay.
And of course, that's where he headquartered the station, the Superstation. But he bought the Hawks for programming, just like he was buying I Love Lucy reruns, And so Ted, had no.
Could you speak into this so people can hear you?
And
he thinks we have NSA quality microphones.
Yeah.
Ted had no interest in basketball in that team, and so
this could be bad. They can hear him now.
So he allowed.
We've been getting away with this for the first 7.5 minutes.
And so he allowed Mike Guerin to run the team, who's a real estate guy, to run the team, and Ted would pay him $1 a year.
Yeah.
Well, it ends up that, of course,
he was overpaid.
He owes Ted change.
Yeah.
The freaking guy.
Well, if you're ever looking for an additional practice facility, he's got to beat on different,
There you go.
properties
There you go.
out there.
I've never seen you up close like
zoning
this.
ordinances.
Frightening, isn't it?
You have good pores. Yeah.
He's like, if they ever filmed 790 the movie, James Caan would play him.
Oh, that's a very good
Isn't
suggestion.
that good?
Yeah. You know what? And I'm going to change my whole image, I've decided.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be another one of these bald-headed prick sports guys in Atlanta. Everybody's bald.
Yeah.
So next time, I meant to do this time. Next time I come, I'm bringing a hairpiece.
Yeah.
I've decided
Yeah.
I'm going to start wearing a
See that.
hairpiece.
Yeah.
I saw a poor guy the other day. He was old, and he had one on, and it was backwards. And he had his bangs coming down like this, and nobody had the heart to tell him. And he was jet black, and he was like 80-something years old.
He had a reverse mullet. He looked like the lead.
God.
He had a reverse mullet. He looked like the lead singer for English Beat.
He looked like he was out of Star Trek.
And he owned a nail salon.
Party in the front, business in the back.
So what do you think of the whole Sterling deal? Do you think had it gone to court that he would have had a case where he said, "Look, you can't take my team away from me"? I mean, he can't
Yes, I
turn
do.
down $2 billion.
Yeah,
I
no,
agree.
Yeah, no, it's
I think
like
he could've-
if
I
you
do.
can have a liberal courtroom, and then it's a fait accompli.
In Southern California, I don't know if you could find one.
A liberal courtroom?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you can.
be a kangaroo
Yeah,
court.
yeah. That's why.
Central California. That's all you would get is a liberal court.
Well, that's why they like to move for change of venue a lot out in California. Looking for the right jury. That's anywhere really. But California, they brought it to a science.
I tell you what, that's a pretty marketing, basketball team. That's as exciting as a team as there is in the league.
Plus it's the Los Angeles market. It's just it's just a great thing. By the way, we just reminded me. What do you think about Mark Jackson?
I have it on my notes. Is he not the best? Is he not the best?
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Right.
He said, what did he say last night? Oh, God, I was talking to a buddy of mine about it today. He said, oh, God, this is going to kill me.
He said, "Get out of the bathroom. You're in the bathroom day and night. Give somebody else a chance."
So this is great. So no,
You gonna
it
be
was.
in there long?
It was. It
got
was.
a dangler.
It was against. It was the Miami game, right?
Yeah.
And so they were inbound on the ball. It was a 3-point game at the time,
yeah.
and all they had to do was get in. Miami's going to put them on the line, but Shane Battier drew the foul before,
Right.
and so it was one shot and the ball because it was before.
Yeah.
But he flopped,
Right.
and Mark Jackson goes. He goes, thank God I forgot the official's name. He said, look at this. This guy's been flopping for years. He said, thank God he called that. He said, most
Yeah.
officials wouldn't call that.
Right.
And, of course, Van Gundy, who
Yeah.
plays off of him so
Right.
well, he
Right.
goes, how perceptive of you. He goes, just imagine if you were to be able to do that 82 games a year, you'd be down on the floor instead of 4 rows up with me.
That's so Van Gundy. That's
They
so
work
him.
well together.
Yeah.
They really are a good team.
And so does the TNT show with Charles and
Oh,
Chad.
that's
Are you kidding me?
They've just
Yeah.
developed such a brand with
But
that.
guys,
the best.
that is such a formula. And can you imagine, like, the sports talk stations that we're familiar with? They don't get the concept.
I don't even want to get into that.
They don't even
I
get
don't
the
wanna get into
concept of regular guys,
course
of
not,
regular
no.
people, people who've been. Everybody's coming in like a Shapiro with some loudmouth act. It's just
If you look
absurd.
at what we did when we first started Sports Talk in the market, and look at what
I
it's
can't
become.
talk about this. I'm gonna
I mean,
go grab
no,
another-
come here.
no.
Oh, he's
No,
got to
I'm
Get
go.
a Stella.
I'm gonna get a
Mary,
beer.
Stella for
You guys talk about how
Stella
shitty
for
broadcasting
Stony.
Anyway, while he's gone, I'm in charge.
No,
Well,
you'll
you
never be.
here, you just stay away. I'm in charge. Welcome back to the show. In just a few minutes, we're going to come back. We have a muffin recipe, a perfect light muffin recipe, perfect for the hot weather, and the best session beers on the East Coast. We're going to talk about those, and we're going to rank them, the top 20 session beers, in just a few minutes. While he's gone,
Yeah.
I was just wondering. We haven't had you around in a couple of weeks. What have you been doing? What have you been doing to help? What the mentality of sports fans and sports people in general in the market? What have you been doing? Because that's
I
important.
do a commentary every day.
I know this.
Yeah,
I do
you
a
can read it over
and
the
by the
men's
way,
room urinal
if
if
you'd
you-
like to get on my commentary list, just drop me a BizBuzz at bbock@gmail.com. BEAUBOCK @gmail.com.
Help me with your plug there. Just being a pal.
So, Mark Jackson and the coverage aside, the other night, the performance that Westbrook put on, right? The next day I'm watching everybody saying, oh, he's the greatest player. Oh, he did. What is with today? And some of the people in sports radio have
Sick.
actually touched on
Sick.
this. No, but anytime somebody does something, the next day it's the best ever.
I know. That's sports talk nonsense. That's what those guys
Did
are
they
doing.
look like the best ever last
It's
night when
like
they
the
got
other day,
drubbed
like
by
the guy,
30?
You know, an oral thing, you go, that's sick. Did you see that? That's sick. You schmuck.
But I mean, you
Bach is
watched
on his game today.
that game last night, man, and I don't know about you guys. I want San Antonio to win it all.
I do, too.
Because I freaking hate
do.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
And I like OKC, but
No,
I'd
you
rather
hate
see
Dwayne Wade?
I hate that prick.
Oh, come on.
Why do you hate him so much?
Hey, Jay.
I talked to a guy who's a
Hansi.
friend of mine. Listen,
Come on.
Not
from you.
he's a flopper, a
Oh,
whiner.
not from,
He's the guy who stirs the
Come
drink.
on. Mr. Domino, Mr. Oliver. Please, not from you.
Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far away from here.
So,
Dear
so I
God,
can fly
make me
so
a bird
far.
so I can fly far away from here.
By the way, what's her name? Robin Wright Penn?
Yeah, what about her? Like to hit that, eh?
Oh, God dang it.
Yeah,
she's
my
a beautiful
goodness,
woman.
she is. You know.
So back to my deal with Dickhead. I was talking to a friend of mine who was out at the Beijing Olympics. He was covering. He was a swim
Ring
coach,
toss.
javelin catcher,
Cake bow. Hey, what's Kevin? Cake bow.
javelin catcher.
Hey,
No,
Kevin,
he
don't
stayed
time.
on the same floor as the Dream Team, and went out, hung out with them every night. All those
Yeah.
guys. He said LeBron, all those guys were great. Real
Yeah.
fun. He said Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant were maybe the two worst human beings he's ever met in his
No,
life.
really?
Yes.
Kobe, I can see. See, but Dwayne Wade,
And that's it. He's got the Domino flair where he's like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm a great guy. And then meanwhile, he's got a mallet behind your head,
Yeah.
and he's going to club you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love Dwayne. I love, first of all, the guy just gave the club to LeBron. He was his club. He brought him in. He invited him in. Championships are more important to him than being the guy in Miami. This is the guy that makes that, LeBron makes it go, but he couldn't make it go without him. He's like a double clutch hombre. And everything, the guy spends more time on the floor than anybody else in the league. He goes to the rack with reckless
He's a
abandon.
flopper.
No, how do you get a flop with a layup?
He's like
getting
Sidney Poitier when it
Come
comes
on,
to
will you
flopping.
Stop. You
I
stop.
mean, he's got it's down to an art.
Come on.
Come on.
It's part of the game.
I tell you, so here's
Flopping.
the deal.
Wait a minute. Were you about to tell me that flopping is part of the game?
Yes. It's part
I
of
will not. You know what? I will not buy that.
Okay. All right. Well, then you
So you're
stand
telling me-
there. You stand there like a big fat lug and let me run into you. And Sasquatch over there will call a foul on you every single time. 5 times later, you're out of the game, and I'm still
Okay,
here.
so you're telling me that flopping is a way to get around that?
That's part of the game. It's part of the
I
game.
agree with
It's okay.
Paul. I think it is part of the
I
game.
don't think it's
I
part of
don't
the
like
game.
it,
What are you, a soccer
but
fan
there's an
too?
art to it. Shane Battier, Manu Ginobili. I mean, these guys are
Dr.
professionals.
Naismith, they know all that stuff.
Dr. Naismith. But what kind of guy was he? When you had to get that ball out of the peach basket. You
Good
looked
guy,
down
bad
and-
guy.
and
Naismith.
Was that not you that said, hey, let's take the bottom off of this thing?
What if we took these scissors and cut the bottom out of the basket?
Yes.
We'll take a line and we'll put it outside the arc and we'll call it a 3-pointer.
I feel like a prick crawling up on the ladder over and over.
Oh,
my
man.
idea.
So basically what it comes down to,
Hold on,
OKC.
hold on. Why would Mary put my water like a Kevin Durant's wingspan? So why would that happen?
So
Why is that?
OKC's got to win 2 in a row. They got to go win one in San Antonio as well. You putting San Antonio in the finals, or you got OKC?
No, I'm putting San Antonio.
Okay. You give
And you
Indiana
know
a
what
fighting chance tonight?
what a beautiful job. I mean, they are so much fun to watch. You talk about a guy
I
that
agree.
really has put his coaching stamp on a team. And in the NBA, sometimes it's tough to discern. You can look at San Antonio like in gray uniforms and know exactly that's no numbers, know exactly that's by the way they move.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the most beautifully coached basketball team I can recall.
It is pretty amazing, and they all know where to be. I thought there was a perfect example last night. Diaw blocks a shot. I think it was Durant tried to dunk
And
on
then
him, right?
Duncan-
And he comes down the floor, catches a ball underneath the basket, pump fakes, has a layup, Leonard could have easily trailed on the play.
Right.
He goes to the corner, which is his spot on the
Right.
floor. He underhand passes him the ball for 3, and I'm thinking they all knew what they were, where they were supposed to
And the
be.
team is coached based on what they are now. I mean, you're looking at a team that really doesn't have any ups.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been, and you got to admit, in a couple of these games, they've looked old.
Well, yeah,
A
well,
couple
they
of
are a
these games.
little
And they're a little old, but that goes back to coaching.
I know better. You've never patted me on the back in fucking 5 years, you prick.
Oh, look at that. I'm an anal bleacher, it says. What is the deal with that? Well, I was talking to Gertie about that. He'll probably want to talk about it in a little bit.
Well, I would
Gertie's
imagine
back
it
there, by the
cleans it and it makes it white.
Yeah, I
Which in
guess.
some cases, if you were an African American, would make your cock look bigger.
We were talking about this earlier.
We're taking this way off the chain today. Oh, fuck. Is he going to do this
Oh
again?
my God!
I got stuff I got to get
I
to
know
here.
we're talking about stuff here.
Y'all ain't doing that now, are you?
Have you heard of this new thing called hick hop?
No,
It's like country western hick rapping.
really.
Hick hop.
Hick hop. Hick hop or hick hop?
Hick hop.
Is that on? I'm getting like that stage fright thing like on the Brady Bunch. Hey, man.
Hey,
Y'all boys doing?
Ulysses, how we
He
doing?
was talking. He didn't say hip hop. He said hick hop.
Not that you're a hick.
Oh God, I'm gonna pee myself. Oh my God.
Not that I'm. Not that
I
I'm
don't. I
implying
do
that
not
you're a
consider that an insult at all.
hick. You spit some game. Got some hick hop.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
it's freestyle.
Hey,
Yes,
I feel
sir.
like I'm pitching hay.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, I'll get you going in the barn.
Yep. Going to a pig picking. Boy, oh boy. Set on fire like Uncle Teeny boy. I can drop it, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
I drop it like it's hotter than 7 hells.
shit. You're like Eminem, just without.
Hell,
Skills.
he sucks. Hey, you were talking about this thing. What is this? I was talking to AJ about it a little while ago. What is this new craze? This this anal bleaching thing that people are doing now. Because I read about it, when I read Screw magazine. I like the editorial.
yeah.
And they're talking. It seems to be all the rage that women's are going and getting their anal bleached. What is it? Why?
It's just a sanitary thing. You don't want to be.
Yeah, but if I see somebody with a white anus, I'm thinking that they got too close to a power plant. I don't know if they've been drinking Mexican water. I don't want nothing to do with it. And
Why do women turn into, CIA undercover reps when it comes to taking a dump? I mean, they gotta, go off and hide and spray and change
Yeah.
clothes. It's
Yeah,
like, come on, we all do it.
And you could be like knocking on the restroom door and you never hear her say, "Dangler." You know what I mean? Like a guy would say, "Dangler, go away."
look up this product. It's called Poo-Pourri. I swear, there's a new product called Poo-Pourri.
Use one drop.
Yeah, and you put it in your bowl, and then when you drop a sea biscuit, what happens is it and it goes underneath it, and it just insulates it with a nice smell, a nice pleasing odor, like new car scent or whatever.
Well,
I love in
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy Raw, where he's doing Richard Pryor. When he was a kid, he said, the only jokes I could do as a kid because the only thing I'd experienced at that point was taking a shit. He said, so I would do it in a Richard Pryor voice. He said, you ever gotta take a shit and shit come halfway out your ass and go back up in there, motherfucker? Don't that make you mad? He goes, stick your head up your asshole saying, that's all the shit I'm gonna get, motherfucker? Quit teasing my ass.
We have to keep him from drinking Jaeger before we do these. Actually, no, he's funnier than hell.
That's funny.
I'm going to get him a shot right now. I'm going to get him a bullet. I just wanted to know because I tried it because I like to be on the cutting edge, but I've just been using plain old Clorox. I don't think that's the way to go.
I think
No,
since
no.
you're white, you should just charcoal your ass.
I think so. I would like to see more contrast. Well, that's just me.
you really want to know where you are.
I do. I want to know. I want to Starfish Central, and there it is.
The depth perception.
There ain't no guessing.
No.
No. It's good to see you, fellas.
That's good to see you too. Well, I hope you take care of yourself.
I will. I'm gonna go back over there because I was getting tore up from the floor up.
There's a lightning storm coming. You should grab a 9-iron and go out there and see if you can.
I'm gonna tell you what. From that time I rode my scooter a few years ago, I got so much metal in me. I don't go out in the thunderstorms no more.
No.
No.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Thunderstorms in the airport. I'm the only one at the airport that will specifically request a strip search, though. But that's just, I'm
Why you do
Hey,
that?
does anybody know? Hey, Orton,
Kinda
you
excited,
went
like
to see
slave
what
little
Rory
money.
shot today? At the memorial. How about Rory freaking McIlroy?
TSA do it for free.
Unbelievable.
Dude breaks up with
Oh,
his,
man, yeah.
goes out, wins the BMW in Europe,
Wait a
shoots
minute,
9 under.
But what does this tell you about human nature? In other words, he goes out, they break up, he goes on a winning streak, she goes in the tank, losing in the first round of the French Open. What does it tell you?
I think we all know what it tells us. I just
What?
don't want to be the guy to say it.
What?
Why don't you say it?
All right, Toby, be good.
Hey, Dobie, okay. Yeah, no, he's playing and he's the guy, He's the guy. Everybody talks about Spieth and some of these other, they're great. Rory's the freaking guy.
supposed to be
He's
the guy.
gonna be the guy.
Right.
And to go out and shoot 9 under yesterday.
No, but what do you think? What do you think it says? I mean, does it say? I mean, would you say
Fucking
that
women are a pain in the ass.
maybe
I mean,
she's guilty of doing something wrong, or maybe because he,
what are you, TMZ right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out.
He shot a 6 over? So she called him this morning. She's trying to,
Tell her.
Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah. Tell her.
I got my ass kicked in Roland Garros.
Take a stroll down the Champs-Elysees and leave me alone, is what he should have told her.
Wow. Who's leading that thing?
I love the way that you could be over here. This is the kind of guy you are. You're over here doing a show, and it's obvious, and you'll be right in the middle of mid-sentence, and some guy walk up to you and go, "How you doing, Bo?
With like a peg leg and an eye patch?
I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been? Have you done any shows?
I'm doing one right now."
I remember that time you were at Barnacles. It was 82.
What else you got in you?
What else do I
else you
have?
got
If it
on your
weren't
list?
for me,
What else
this
you got on
show
your-
would be off the rails.
Are you
Do you
kidding
have any
me?
idea
Are
how
you
much
kidding
I
me?
brought
here
to
they
the
go
table
again.
here
Here they
today?
go.
Kidding me?
There's plenty to talk about. Jake Matthews
We
is
gotta
apparently
drink more.
taking people 20 yards downfield.
I was out there Wednesday.
They
and-
still let you out there?
Well, it was surprising, because I figured, I'll make the trip out here, and I'm gonna watch for half an hour, but I refuse.
There's a
to-
microphone.
I'm gonna watch for half an hour, but I'm not gonna let them win. I'm gonna be there, So as it turns out, they just shut off the cameras after half an hour, and then you were able to stay and watch, which you hadn't been able to do before. It just really drives me crazy. Because Arthur Blank, said, this is Atlanta's team. I want this. And for the first time in the history of the franchise, they closed practice to the media.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, you know what happened, right? You know the reasoning for it?
Well, supposedly that D. Orlando put something
Who's
in there.
probably
regarding-
as good as any beat
Yeah,
writer in the country
yeah,
covering one team.
Tell you the truth, I thought they manufactured that, Hans, because I really thought it was me saying that we don't practice hard, and specifically.
You might be right.
And specifically,
Because I don't.
pointed out-
You're right. I thought that was interesting that they did that to him. Sorry.
Yeah, because I didn't see it in the paper that nothing caught my attention.
The fact that Holmes was playing
Yeah.
left tackle instead of right tackle.
See, they had two ways they could go with
That's a
that.
non-fact.
You said they didn't practice hard. They had two ways they could go with that: practice harder,
Right.
Right.
or ban people from practice.
Well, how about this?
I think they went the wrong way.
Well, how about this?
I agree with you.
4 years ago, Arthur Blank, had the end of year media meeting at the foundation, and he was up on the dais with Thomas the
Oh, this is the day you got all dressed up with this and Crocs. and
Oh,
went
yeah,
there.
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
Green Crocs. Got to be the lime green Crocs.
And so, so they're talking, and the dais is Smitty, Thomas Dimitroff, and Arthur. And one questions, I said, what are we going to do about our physicality? And Arthur said, what? What do you mean? Well, I said, well, we don't play hard. We're not a physical team. We're not like Seattle. We're not
We're
like
a
San
finesse team.
Francisco. We're not like Baltimore. We can't beat the Giants in the playoffs because they're more physical than us. Whoa. Now all of a sudden, Arthur's coming out saying, We got to get more physical.
Right.
We're not physical enough.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think part of the practice being closed, and they'll never admit it, they should just openly come out and say that they made a crucial mistake last year by allowing Tony Gonzalez to skip training camp.
Right, they should.
That
Right.
You can't do that.
No.
And I think at the time, media, Falcons fans were just so excited to have Tony back.
Yeah.
You were coming off such a great year that you were willing to deal
Well,
with
we were
it.
giddy. We were giddy.
But you've just set a precedent now
Yeah.
that I don't know
No.
how you overcome it unless you just bring everybody in and say,
Right.
look, we made a mistake. It's not going to happen
Right,
anymore.
right. We just signed Dion. He won't be here till November.
Yeah.
That's okay.
If
It's
we
all
make
right.
the Super Bowl, Tony's going to come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, a couple other things of interest with the Falcons go.
Well, the draft. We really haven't had a chance to talk about the draft. but
I'm
that's-
excited. No. I'm excited about this defensive line. I mean, the hell with pass rush. They got some freaking animals up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of bodies. You know, and what I talked about the other day was that, to me, this team impressed me more so, and I've seen every Falcon team on the first day of practice every year since '73. This team reminded me of the biggest, most athletic team that I ever remember. I mean, we've got some specimens out there. We've got some bodies.
Weak at
And Mike
linebacker,
Tyson-
man.
Mike
Linebacker
Tyson.
is the only thing that concerns me. You got one linebacker, Warlow, whatever. We'll see. But
Right.
Spoon's the only guy, and he can't stay on the field.
In the meantime, it seems like people are coming out of the woodwork to pick the Falcons last in the division this coming season.
I haven't seen that. Have they really?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people who picked the Falcons to come in.
Well, they're dumb
Well,
shit.
you know, the first two. The
That's
first
the
2 weeks.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
First-
Cam Newton's going to be throwing the ball to himself.
Yeah.
Our first 2 weeks, we've got New Orleans and Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati, I'm sorry. New Orleans, Cincinnati.
Where
and
are we
then
playing the
Tampa Bay.
Bungles? Here or there?
We're playing the Bungles, I think here.
Okay. You know, to me, the biggest question with this team
I can tell that this means something to you. I know that look.
it's two things. Two guys, okay, I'm going to write them down here, that when we signed, I knew that they were freaking bad, and they're not going to work out, and I'm not giving him a pass like everybody else. B.J. Upton, which we've already touched on, he sucks ass. He's never going to get any better. He's a head case. And Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson cannot stay
See,
healthy.
I had high hopes for Steven Jackson.
Well, you look
high hopes.
That's about all.
I had high hopes.
Oh, you got high hopes.
Hey,
Doctor.
give him another year.
What? He's freaking 175 years old.
Wait a minute.
He's in hospice.
Last year was. That's the guy.
And the guy comes in, he goes, you know,
They never told me.
They tell the doctor, go ahead, and he turns around and he says, this is the biggest motherfucker I've ever seen in hospice.
When he go, you better roll him out. 'Cause I'm not touching.
You sure he can't play? No, he can't play. Look, great guy, whatever. He can't stay healthy. That's why
The only
Devontae
thing last year was an
Freeman,
aberration, though.
Aberration?
He's not hurt.
more like an
annually.
operation. I'll be here all day.
Yeah, this is great.
High
Who
hopes.
shows nightly with this freaking guy?
Nobody ever shows up for the second one. Never. No, I'm just saying. I hope Freeman works out. You were right about Quiz. All these years, you know, everybody was kind of find a reason for him, you know, that he was going to work out. You were right.
He won't be. He won't make this club. And by the way, what they did was they just switched Trufant to the left side.
Yeah.
And because most quarterbacks are right-handed, most offenses are right-handed, more passes go to the right.
Define an
And
offense being right-handed.
Well, the quarterback's right-handed, and you have a propensity to go to your strong side, to roll to your strong side. And most of your plays, and, you know, the guy diagramming the plays, he's right-handed. It's just a human tendency to go to your strong side. So more passes go to the right side out of a quarterback's hand than go to the left. So they're switching Alford to the right side, and Trufant, who they see a bigger upside to the left side.
Okay, that's fair. I tell you what, I think we're going to see leaps and bounds defensively from this team this year. I think those bodies in the middle are going to make a big difference.
And by the way, you should see Mike Tice work the offensive line.
Yeah.
They haven't worked like this in 6 years altogether. Because we haven't had an offensive line
How's Sam
coach in
Baker?
6 years. Looks great.
He's always looked great.
No. Well, what do you want me to say? What do you want? We're going to give him the grip test?
For a starter, you know,
Yeah.
check him out nice, go in there, give him the once over.
There you go. That's a pretty strong grip you got there, Sam. Must be in shape, lad.
I gotta figure out what the fuck you're talking about half the time. I don't understand you.
Crying out
All right,
loud.
so a couple other things to get
How's
to
he
before we
look?
got here. A couple of loose ends. Guy said
was
the other
wearing
day.
chinos.
Guy
Hello.
said the other day, greatest small forward of all time on the all small forward team. And we'll bring in Sasquatch on this one.
Yeah.
Has LeBron James surpassed Larry Bird in that?
You know
call
what?
him Sasquatch?
You know what?
Yeah, that is
It's
Sasquatch. Look at it.
right there.
If he walked outside right now, somebody would lasso
Here,
him and drag him
let me
into
show you the-
town square.
Give me to show you the Sasquatch walk real quick. I like to do walk like a Sasquatch day. You ever see the old grainy video they have in the old days where Sasquatch is walking through the woods?
Yeah.
And then he kind of looks back at the camera at the last second. Ready? Here's the Sasquatch walk. Remember that video? Sasquatch walking through the woods. Okay, black and white video, and he looks back at the camera last second.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's the Sasquatch walk. Ready? Go. What do you think?
Is
Perfect?
I don't know.
Is he drunk?
There you go.
I think he's drunk.
He's not supposed to be drinking. He's not supposed to be drinking. So, Oren. Yes. This is Oren Romaine, by the way. Oren, come on in. Pull up a chair.
Here,
Oren,
you can have my cigarette.
Oren was a
Hey,
producer
stay
of
here.
ours.
Just move, everybody move around.
When Bo and I had our show at the
Yes.
station that no longer exists, Oren was
Sunday
our
mornings.
producer. Right. Oren was our producer. Oren Romaine. Say hello to everybody. People are in
Hello.
Reykjavik, Iceland, the Netherlands.
Icelandics, I like it.
They're all over the place watching this program.
Europe,
so
Eurasia,
Larry,
everybody.
Larry Bird,
Giles Goodnight.
Larry Bird, LeBron James.
You know what? LeBron is in a category unto himself.
He really is.
I mean, how do you compare him with anybody, anything, anytime, anyway? He's the biggest, strongest. Did you see the burst on him the other night? He looked like Westbrook going to the basket. He's got an incredible burst for a man that size. I think he's in the category all by himself. It's like comparing Shaq. I mean, you can compare Shaq to other guys, but just his sheer size gave him an advantage. Well, LeBron's athleticism at his size
But does he-
makes him totally unique.
He's got a very high basketball IQ.
Yeah, he does,
But does he
yeah.
have a basketball IQ like Bird?
I can't put him with a Bird for this one reason and one reason only. Yes, the size. Yes, he's a once-in-a-generation type of athlete. But Bird did it against the best. He did it against Magic. He did it against Michael. He did it against the bad boys. I mean, Bird went against those 80s dynasties, those 80s legends. We don't really have those type of legends that we have,
Now,
back
who,
then.
who had a better supporting cast?
What he said. Yeah, what he said.
When you talk about Bosch, Edward,
Well,
Bosch and Wade
No,
are
I-
freaking McHale, DJ,
No,
Ainge,
you're
and
talking about all
Bears.
timers. I think Larry had the better supporting cast. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: if you were going to take, a composite of the best, to putting together the best at that position ever, you would take Larry Bird's moxie and knowledge of the game. You would take LeBron's size, speed, heart. Although Bird
Whatever, he had a
big heart.
layup the other night. He kicked it out to Bosch because he didn't want to take the shot.
That was defended well, though. The Pacers played that well. They did the
Whatever,
right
man.
thing on that play. And LeBron,
Michael Jordan's not passing that damn ball.
regardless of that, LeBron made the right play.
I
LeBron
mean,
made
it's
the right
like,
play.
okay, here he is. He's got the ball. The game's on
Yeah,
the
but
line.
wait a
Take
minute,
it to the rack.
See, but that's
I don't
always
want it.
that's
And
always
he gives
been
it to
that's
freaking
always been the
T-Rex out there.
criticism of him. When he was in the finals with Cleveland, he would be like, or 16-foot Jay and throw it into the corner. So he was trying to be so overly unselfish.
Yeah.
That it hurt the team.
I agree.
I mean, he had to go, and I blamed him at the time for not wanting to take the final shot.
Mm-hmm.
That he's got to take the final shot.
Let me ask you this. You take LeBron now with his physical stature, all of his skill sets, and
Put
you
him
put him in
back
the
in the day?
80s. Does he put up those same kind of numbers that, say, he puts up now or that Bird put up back then, too?
I think he plays like Chamberlain if he plays back then.
Really?
I think he just does whatever the hell he wants whenever he
But
wants.
Well,
even in a
you
more
can't-
physical type of NBA that it was back in the 80s, too?
Well,
That's
yeah,
a good
but-
point.
Yeah,
I
but
don't- that's a good
forget
point.
nobody was that big back then.
Well, I
could
mean,
be
you
as
had
a-
guys that were
Charles
not necessarily
Oakley,
that
do you
big.
think Charles Oakley
No,
would put
Charles-
up with
no,
his shit?
You had
No, but
Lambeer,
no,
you
but
had
put him on
Mahorn,
his
you
ass.
had big guys back then. too. You had
Oakley didn't
Rambis.
have his
Rambis was a
musculature.
small guy.
He wasn't built like LeBron.
I
He wasn't
guarantee you
fast
LeBron
like
James
LeBron.
wouldn't want any part
No,
of Charles
I
Oakley.
know that. But it's just like, you know what? If Why, by the way, why didn't LeBron just hit Stevenson right in the snot lock?
Because that's,
he needs it.
that's what Lance wanted him to do.
needs
That's exactly what Lance wanted him to do.
What
though.
would the commissioner do? What would I, to me, if I'm commissioner, and
You're in a
that
tough
guy's
spot,
blowing
yeah.
his ear, and you smack him right in the snot
That's
locker,
the guy that everybody wants to see too.
I let him off the hook. I mean, there's some things you don't do to a man. And I find Stevenson.
Right.
For aggravation.
Yeah.
You brought this on yourself.
Right.
So you know what I think is great is you were talking earlier about Barkley, and remember the whole deal that he got into with the San Antonio women, calling them big and all that.
Right,
you know?
right.
So last night, I don't know if you saw the poster. They
poster.
showed Big Mama's House 3.
They photoshopped his face.
They
on
photoshopped his face, and Shaq was giving him a hard time. And so you
Barkley
don't
had the
expect,
best response.
you don't expect Barkley to back up off of it. He goes, "Oh, look at you in the one piece. Look at you in the one piece." And Barkley goes, "Well, I know they got my size."
I know they got my size out here.
He's awesome.
I know
man.
that.
He's so damn funny. All right, I got nothing. I think we've. That's solid. I thought that would kick back. That's solid, man.
You know, it's like when you get like ice on ice cream. It's a protective layer. So I got the abs of steel.
The frozen tundra of stomachs.
I
Right
do.
There, yes.
I don't have a 6-pack, but I got me like a 4-pack on a good day.
Well, God bless you.
Yeah.
Well,
And
listen.
God bless all of you.
What do we got? Anything else going on?
I don't think.
Hey, is the Triple Crown this weekend? Or next weekend?
Next weekend.
For the horses?
Next weekend, yeah. Oh, for the horses? You're not talking about for the
others.
For the cheerleaders. Talking about for the horses.
What a Triple Crown would there be?
You had a guy come up to me the other day and say, "Hey, you were that great mascot, weren't you?" I said, "That's damn right."
No one filled out a fursuit like you.
I did this thing where I used to pull my cougar tail in between my legs like it was a cop.
No, come on.
I'd slap people with it.
And they had no
It
idea.
was a
either.
crowd stopper. You don't see kids doing that these days.
Do you still do
For,
that
for
part-time?
obvious reasons, yes.
I would take it, I'd wrap it around my leg like this. I'm telling you, man, I was a show.
You were something.
Well, great to see everybody. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and hopefully we do this again soon.
Happy May Day. Let's say when do we do next Friday?
Are you going to pay me the usual?
Yeah.
I'll be here.
That's a big light.
Okay.
See you guys. Thanks to Edward, by the way. Great
Oscar
job.
de
See you,
la Renta.
Squatch.